The Carolina Hurricanes are heading into yet another back-to-back game as they are taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight in Tampa Bay. Find out all you need to know about tonight's game in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
Your Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you are listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this Thursday afternoon. And follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes and myself on Twitter at JaredEllis_96. And we obviously have a bit of a camera upgrade now, so I don't look like I'm recording from the early 2000s now. So if I end up looking in the spot of the old camera, I do apologize. But yeah, the Hurricanes are down in Tampa Bay taking on the Lightning tonight. This is the first game in yet another back-to-back series as they're back home tomorrow to take on the Buffalo Sabres. And the Hurricanes are searching for their third straight win. Obviously, those two previous ones requiring extra time, with the previous game being against the Washington Capitals, going to a shootout, and the one before that being an overtime winner up in Philadelphia. So this is also going to be a very busy month for the Hurricanes this November as they have 14 games. I believe they have 3 sets of back-to-backs as well. So it's going to be a tough month. It is. But the Hurricanes, they got guys surging right now. Marty Necas, he has had 13 points in 9 games for the Hurricanes, with 4 of those being multi-point games. He's on a 4-game point streak along with Brent Burns. Andrei Svechnikov is currently tied for third in the NHL in goals with 8 goals behind only Erik Karlsson and Connor McDavid. So they got guys going, and that's great. But the Hurricanes have also kind of seemed to be struggling at times. And it only being, a couple guys, being Marty Necas and Andrei Svechnikov carrying a very large load. For a while is Sebastian Aho in there as well, but I feel like he's kind of petered off a little bit into stereotypical early season Sebastian Aho, where he's kind of not showing up as much as you kind of need him to. So I'm really hoping that in tonight's game against Tampa Bay, they're 3-time defending Eastern Conference champions. They just came off, yet another Stanley Cup final appearance after winning back-to-back Stanley Cups. So, they're going against, one of the best teams in hockey. And the Hurricanes, they need to have things clicking tonight. It can't be yet another one of those games where they're struggling to get things going. They're waking up late and only showing up like halfway through the second period and stuff like that. We can't be having that in this game. Whenever that puck first drops, the Hurricanes need to be awake and ready to go. We can't be having none of this slow start stuff tonight. It really cannot happen because we know how Tampa is. If you get behind early against this team, good luck coming back. Obviously, it can be done. Teams have done it before, but this is not a team that is going to be easy to come back from. The Carolina Hurricanes are with that game against the Capitals, that was their fourth straight, or not fourth straight, excuse me, just fourth come from behind win this season. That's something I said, early on in the season, like, hey, well, it's still early on in the season, but we can't be playing from behind all the time because you're not always going to be able to come back. And this is really going to be one of those games where it's going to be really tough to come back from if you get down early. One goal is one thing, but going down 2-0 or something like that, against Tampa, it's gonna be tough. It is, and the Hurricanes, they're 6-2-1 right now with 13 points and tied for third in the Metro, and they've had to earn it. And I know some of those Western Conference games, like San Jose and Seattle, those looked a little easy, but they've had to earn this where they're at right now because they've been struggling to get things going and struggling to get things clicking properly, and they got to do that tonight for sure. And one big thing about that is going to be the special teams. Special teams have got to show up. The Hurricanes special teams power play especially has not been good this year. The Hurricanes power play is oh boy. It is at 17.1%, and at 24th in the NHL. Yeah. Hurricanes power play has not been good this year. And it feels like every game preview and every game recap, I'm talking about how bad this power play is, but it is. You cannot win a Stanley Cup with a power play this bad. I mean, it's not last. There's that. It's not last. But, it I forget which game it was. God, which one was it? But they gave up a 5-on-3. And oh my god. Like, come on, guys. I get, power plays are hard. Other teams really fighting for their life out there. But I mean, good lord. In Tampa's, power play hasn't been, to its normal standard either this season. It's at 21.4% at 18th in the NHL. So it's not much better, but it's better than the Hurricanes. And right now it's not hard to be better than the Hurricanes power play. And with the Hurricanes power play being so bad, they're going against one of the best penalty killing units in the NHL tonight. Tampa's penalty kill is at an 82.4% at 8th in the NHL. So these glimmers of hope that we've seen throughout the season with the Hurricanes power play, we gotta have it in this game. We have seriously got to. And Tampa's penalty kill is better than the Hurricanes this year as well. At least so far, the Hurricanes is at 79.4%, ranked at 15th in the NHL, very middle of the pack. So, God, the Hurricane special teams has got to show up tonight. If it does not show up, the Hurricanes are losing this game, 100%. And I think it's going to be interesting what they go with in between the pipes as well. Because, it's a back-to-back. You figure they're probably going to split the guys. Freddie gets one, Auntie gets the other. But, who gets what? I was said, following that Washington game that I felt Freddie looked kind of off. Like something he just wasn't in a rhythm. And that was something he kind of talked about post game as well. That was kind of hard to get in a rhythm in that game. So, I would almost go Auntie Ronsa tonight over Freddie and say Freddie for tomorrow against Buffalo. Uh, I just feel like Freddie needs another day to kind of sit and kind of gather himself, I guess. But yeah, he didn't look great in that game. Yeah, he obviously showed up when it counted in overtime and shootout, which is great. It's phenomenal. We got the win. But I feel like I would probably go Auntie Ronsa tonight. But that's just me. Ultimately, Rod and Tim Gleason, all those guys, they know more than I do as far as what they should do, with lines for tonight. As of 11:53 a.m., I haven't seen any lines come out, but we'll look again, before the show ends, whether or not the lines have came out. But ultimately, I wouldn't expect much change at all, if any. Andre Kosh is still out. Calvin Hunt is still out. So probably expect a lot of the same stuff, guys. This is, as you can see, covering the team has been tiring this year. There's a lot of just kind of frustrating things, going on with this team. It's just not, you look at kind of how this team was at this point last year, they're on a heck of a run. Uh, but this season is not the same. But like I said before, I'd rather face this kind of stuff now in November now rather than October. I'd rather face it now than get to April and be dealing with it, right before the playoffs. I'd rather be dealing with it now. But we did get to hear from Rod Brind'Amour yesterday after practice, and we will hear what he had to say right after this quick break, folks. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes are in that first game of a back-to-back tonight against Tampa, tomorrow against Buffalo. So if you're wanting to place a bet on either one of these games, betonline.net is your number one source for that. It is also your number one source for all of your football and the start of your basketball season. Whatever bets you're wanting to place, whether it's Panthers, Patriots, Wolfpack, whether it's Charlotte Hornets, whether it's the Lakers, whoever, BetOnline has you covered. So you can find all of the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all of your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. Is the fastest and easiest way to check on all of your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, golf, hockey, football, basketball, wrestling, whatever. BetOnline has you covered. So head over to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, as I mentioned, we did get to hear from Rod Brind'Amour yesterday after practice at Invisalign Arena, and this is what Rod had to say yesterday.
Put that anywhere. You ready now? Yes.
All right. Tampa always presents a challenge to everyone. What have you seen from them so far this year? Obviously, a little bit of a new lineup for them, but still the big horses.
Yeah, I think it's the same story every time you play them. They got a great power play. You want to stay out of the box, and you get your chances. They got the best goalie in the league, so you gotta make sure you bear down because he's a game changer.
What have you thought so far about Jacob and Brent playing together and how that's all coming together?
So I think it's getting better every game, and we're just in there now. They're just chatting about things, about little plays and stuff that they're still trying to get on the same page. Be dialed right in. So I think it'll get better. All the way through the year.
Is it hard when you have a guy who's played kind of one way or with one team for 10
years? It's hard
yeah.
for him because I think he's, there's certain things that maybe are there are a lot of things that are a lot different, and you're just stuck in your ways, and it's just trying to get out of those, I don't want to say habits or whatever it is, but he's got a willingness to do it. That's why I know what it's going to work out.
And Jacob's a good release valve for anybody back there.
Yeah, obviously he's as elite as they come on the defensive side of things.
The schedule awkward players doing the home away.
Yeah, it's a schedule. I told you earlier. When you just look at it as a whole, it's very strange this year. But last year I thought we had a great schedule, so it just kind of works. Sometimes you have them, sometimes you don't. But yeah, for that it's weird.
I know you're focused on next game up, but you look at November. A lot of top teams, or at least teams that are expected to be top teams, is this an important month, now that you've had the 1 month to kind of, get your legs under you a little bit?
Well, ask me at the end of the month. I think it's, we don't even look at it month to month. It's kind of every night there's a new challenge, and the teams that people thought weren't going to be good are good. Everybody's good. So I don't look at the schedule and say, oh, we're playing, that team, and that team. It's if we're good, if we're ready to roll every night, we got a good chance.
Did you the NHL tweeted something out, or somebody tweeted something out that Wayne Gretzky had the most points on Halloween of any player. Not surprising, but that you were tied for second. Do you remember being good on Halloweens?
No, I don't remember. I actually saw them talking about that. I didn't hear the secondary part. They just meant, I remember Gretzky because was it Thompson just got six?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that part, but I don't remember that, if that's what you're asking.
Big Halloween guy or no?
Yeah, well, I always like these, but with the kids, they get a lot of good memories bombing around. And now, I still got one that does it. So it's fun because the kids just love it, right? That's what's great about it.
All right. Thanks, Rod.
Good trip.
Yeah, so obviously it was fun to hear about the Halloween stuff, and then the fact that Rod is tied for second in points on Halloween. But yeah, he's right. They are going against the best goalie in the league, and one thing with that is I feel that it's a criticism I've had of the Hurricanes before, of how they take so many shots, and quite often it feels like they're just shooting to shoot the puck, not shooting to score. They are the top 5 in the league, 5th in the league for shots per game, averaging at 36.2 per game right now. So, they're gonna need a lot of shots when you're going against Andre Vasilevsky. You're gonna need that. But one thing that they're gonna have to do is be smart about these shots. They need to really, really try to open him up and create those holes for guys, whether it's Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, Jordan Stahl, Stefan and Brent Burns, heck, Jalen Chatfield. Heck, if you really got to get it down to Antti Ranta or Frederick Anderson, you got to do what you got to do to get it past Andre Vasilevsky. Obviously, I'm not expecting a goalie goal in this game. That was a joke. But, they're going to have their work cut out for them. And every team does when you go against Tampa. But I think that, like I said, the Hurricanes special teams is going to be big. And I really hope that they're able to be on their A game. They're going to have to be to win this game. But like Rod mentioned, the home away, home away, home away. That's tough. That's really tough. And yeah, you had your day off or off. You practiced and traveled, but you look at this. You're on the road again. It's another back to back. You're away. Now you're going to be home tomorrow against Buffalo, and I feel like the Hurricanes, they're really going to have to be on their A game in both games. But this one, being the really tough one. No disrespect to Buffalo, but it's Tampa, and it's going to be a really tough game. So the Hurricanes, they got to be smart in this game. They really do to come away with the win. They obviously know what to do to win against Tampa. They did it. They've done it before. And one thing that will be weird tonight is the fact that the Hurricanes are going to be wearing their black uniforms down in Tampa because Tampa's wearing their reverse retros. So that'll be weird seeing the black uniforms down there in Tampa. But that is what it is. That's just going to be a fun little sight for the fans and whatnot. Obviously, hoping Tampa fans enjoy seeing their reverse retros down there. I personally really like Tampa's reverse retros. That's just me. So I'm excited to see those jerseys. And of course, the Hurricanes blacks jerseys as well. And one thing with this game, I'm talking about special teams showing up and the Hurricanes, trying to open up Andre Vasilevsky and create holes for guys and all that stuff. The Hurricanes need to be on it physically tonight as well. Very much how they were against Washington. They need to be on it when it comes to being physical with Tampa as well, because you remember back to last season, just how heated those games were getting, especially, gosh, I think it was the last meeting between the two. Whenever they had a bunch of stuff going on after the final whistle for the game. I think that the Hurricanes are really gonna need to be ready for that tonight, and they need to be ready to drop some gloves if need be. I'm honestly surprised we didn't see it in the Capitals game, but we'll see it. Whether it be in the game in Washington or the Stadium Series game, we're gonna see it. I think we all realize that. But yeah, the Hurricanes need to bring it physically tonight as well. Not only showing up on the power play, they got to be able to show up on defense and bringing physicality to the game tonight. But we got to get into the line predictions for tonight as well as the keys to the game, and we'll do that right after this quick break. All right, folks, it is time to get into the keys to the game. And this is all stuff that, for the most part, we've already touched on in this game. With special teams showing up again, just another quick rundown in case you forgot. The Tampa Bay power play is ranked 18th in the NHL at 21.4%. The Hurricanes are 24th in the NHL for their power play at 17.1%. And the Tampa penalty kill is at 8th in the NHL with 82.4%. And the Hurricanes is at 15th in the NHL at 79.4%. So special teams, again, got to show up tonight if we're going to win this game. And preferably both, not just the penalty kill. Let's be honest, that's the one that usually shows up. And has been the case for a while now, of that being the one that shows up. But another thing that the Hurricanes are really going to need to take advantage of, I talk about Tampa having that advantage on the power play and penalty kill. The Hurricanes have a big advantage when it comes to faceoffs, and they're really going to need to capitalize on these strong faceoffs. The Hurricanes are 4th in the NHL in faceoffs at 53.9% success rate, whereas Tampa is all the way down at 25th in the NHL at 46.5%. Now, given percentage-wise, not a massive difference. It's more when it comes to the rankings where you see that big difference. But the Hurricanes, they have that advantage there, and we know how good the Hurricanes can be on faceoffs. So that's going to be something they really need to take advantage of. Win these faceoffs and create some strong plays afterwards. Go down there, create good shots, for your guys. Or if you're already in that zone, go ahead and create them there. Come up with some really good plays off of the face-off. That's going to be really important to gaining an advantage in this game, especially if you are struggling on the power play. Really be successful off the face-offs. And then another one is something that we talked about I feel like in most games this season, but we saw it in these past couple games of spreading the love around, of it not just being Marty Necas and Andrei Svechnikov, it not just being those guys. Let's see, other guys. We saw Stefan Nason in the last game. In the previous game, we saw Jordan Stahl and Jordan Martinook. Those are going to be things that we need to do to win this game. Yes, maybe crunch time. Yeah, you want to get the puck to Necas and get it to Svech, but you need to spread the love around because this is going to be a team that knows you well with how much they've played each other over the past couple years. And then also you're going to need to be able to try to open them up as much as possible and take advantage. If they're zoned in on Svech, okay, toss it over to Jesperi and have him get a good shot and maybe score a goal as well. He's another guy I've said, I feel he's kind of knocking on the door, with his play as of late. I feel like he's kind of due for a big game. And Sebastian Aho, he's supposed to be the Hurricanes' best player. He's been kind of silent as of late. I really want to see him tonight, as well as just the top guys in general. This is a game where you need your top guys, and we saw that in the last game against Washington. I said that was a game you need your top guys, and we did see that with Svech, is getting the game deciding goal, and he also got the game tying goal, I believe, as well. Yeah, Yeah, he got the game tying goal because Nate just got the assist on both of the goals. But yeah, you need your top guys to show up in this game for sure. This is a really, really tough opponent, and you need Sebastian Aho, Andre Svechkov, Marty Necas, Seth Jarvis, all those guys. And you need Nazen and Stahl and Fost and those other guys as well. But ultimately, we got to wait and see, who's going to be taking the ice. And we're going to look to see real quick if the Hurricanes have announced a projected lineup. I don't believe they have. I haven't seen any notifications go off as we've been sitting here. And it doesn't look like, no projected lineup as of right now. Yeah, as of where we sit right now in recording, no projected lineup has been announced for tonight's game. But like I said earlier, I honestly don't expect much change at all. I honestly feel like forward wise, really just forwards and defense. It's probably going to be the same we've been seeing. And as far as where everyone is, I think really the only change you could see is maybe Martinook going back down to the fourth, Stastny going up to the third. It's really the only change I see happening. DeHaan is still hurt, Kosh is still hurt, so not going to be seeing either of those guys. DeHaan, he has been practicing, so maybe we see him. We obviously talked about that earlier in the week. I think maybe we could see him Friday, but from what I've heard and seen, I don't think we'll be seeing him tonight, but I wouldn't necessarily rule it out completely. But yeah, I wouldn't expect on seeing him. So defenseman, probably same thing there. Ethan Bear's gone now, so you don't have to worry about him being in the mix. And then goalie wise is really the only thing I see potentially getting switched up. Again, coming off of that Washington game, Freddie kind of struggling to be in a rhythm. I honestly think he may go Antti Raanta here, but that's just me. We'll have to wait and see what happens come game time. It wouldn't surprise me either way because it's not like Freddie is bad. He showed up, when he needed to show up. And I feel like he's probably going to face a little bit more work against Tampa than he did against Washington. So maybe he could get a rhythm better. Maybe you want him in there against, the better of the two teams. But ultimately, we'll just have to wait and see what happens when it comes to who's in goal for the Hurricanes tonight. I would probably go Antti Raanta, but that's just me. Wouldn't surprise me if they go Freddie. So we'll just see what happens, folks. So in the meantime, make sure you're following Locked On Hurricanes on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes and myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis _96. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode.